right.
Hey, baby, I'm ready.
Okay, and we on.
Yeah.
Let me just make sure. Hold on. Let me just. You know, we out here figuring things out still in this new world.
You know.
All I gotta do is check this. It says offline. Hold on. Why aren't we live? It's saying offline. Why is it offline? Hold on. It says live here, but it's... Oh, this is bugged out. Oh, no, it is live. It's saying live, but it's offline. Why is that? Hold on.
Why is that?
Why is that? Hold on. Let me just double check on this shit. Yeah, we are most definitely live, my brother.
All right, well, let's just get right in.
Yeah, man. Yo.
What's up, world? This is IZM Mondays with your boy Hakim Green. Got Focus out there in BK. Oh, no, excuse me, the BX.
No, wrong. Well, I'm from the Lower East Side, but you know.
Lower East Side, I got
what I'm saying?
you.
That's what I rap, baby. Lower East Side.
Yeah, when I met you, you was in Queens.
No, when you met me, I was in Brooklyn.
In Brooklyn?
The studio in Brooklyn. White
Brooklyn.
No, not White Cove. Bushwick area.
Bushwick area. So you was close to Queens, though.
Very close.
It's close to Queens. But anyway, this is IZM Mondays. You kicking it with Hakim Green and Fokis. And what we got going on is just a continuation of a lifestyle that was sparked, get it, back in 1994 with the record IZM featuring KRS-One by Channel Live featuring KRS-One. And of course, in 2015, I launched the brand IZM. And over the last, few years, we've been doing different various events and activities with the IZM theme since cannabis has kind of taken off. We have the magazine, MADism.info. And, we felt it was time to really focus in on this internet wave.
Get it? Focus in? Get it?
Get it? Focus in? You know what I mean? On this internet wave. And, just bring, proper content related to hip-hop and cannabis in all its various forms. So that's what IZM Mondays is, specifically about. And then, of course, we're going to continue with the entertainment or the edutainment portion. We got MCs all around the world who are going to be submitting music and videos for us to feature and showcase. And we got some special guests lined up and what have you. So Focus, my guest, host, my co-host, hop on in and add to the cipher, brother.
Hey, man. We happy to be here. We making the most out of this being stuck in Coronaville, like Friday, you the smoker, I'm the drinker. Like Ice Cube said, I drink. I drink. You know what I'm saying?
Well, check this out, though. Growing up, we had this term for alcohol. We used to call it the lism.
The lism? Hey.
The lism. You got the lism?
Man.
And jokers pull out some old E, some Mad Dog 2020 on you.
There we go.
The lism.
You know what I mean? I'm actually taking a break from drinking. It was supposed to start June 1st, but it will start June 1st, but probably around in a couple hours from now. I had like a couple of beers left over, so I'm finished them up, and I'm gonna go alcohol free till July 4th weekend.
Okay, that's
you know what I mean? Clean up, because we know we're about that health is wealth, So, but there we go, juicing. There we go, man.
So, speaking of health and wealth,
indeed.
Right before the show, of course, I worked out earlier, did my cardio, did my whole routine. And then, because I didn't have a chance to really eat before we got into the show, I had to, get some nutrition in my system, especially like when you're smoking weed, weed, it's a weed. Herb is a weed. So correct. Weed takes the nutrients out of the ground. That's why weeds on your lawn and when you're growing flowers, weeds are so dangerous because it steals the nutrients out of the ground. And it's the same way for like smoking weed. You smoke a lot of weed, you got to make sure you put the nutrients back in So I whipped up a green juice real quick. Hakim green juice, Madism. You get it. You see how it's flowing. You know, I whipped up the green juice right fast. I got some kale, spinach, green grape, apple, pineapple, ginger going on right here.
That sounds excellent right there, man. Enjoy that, man. But you know, it's for me, it's actually it's great to see when people, especially like artists and rappers, famous people that actually take care of themselves. You know, because I feel like so many of us within the inner cities where we come from, we take so much of that for granted, and we don't really feed our bodies the proper nutrients. You know what I mean? When I've traveled to Europe quite often now, and I noticed that in Europe, the foods, everything is pretty much natural. Everything is pretty much natural. It's not like over here. I mean, of course they sell potato chips and things like that, and they have McDonald's but overall, everything is way more natural. When you eat in a family's home, I mean, they're having a well-balanced meal.
Right.
Well-balanced meal.
You know, because it's about nutrition. You know, like a lot growing up, how we grew up. You know, I don't know about you, but I grew up on a slave diet. You know, in that it's a lot of processed foods. You know, it's a lot of, you know what I'm saying? You know, I didn't grow up on pork, but you know, if you too much fried foods, chicken, you know, too much red meat in your diet is not good for you. You know, and then, you know, I come from, you know, I grew up on welfare, bro. You know, I grew up
here.
You know what I mean? So, you know, I was eating, you know, canned foods, canned spinach, canned vegetables, canned cheese, you know, processed cheese, government cheese.
But the government cheese, not to cut you, when we got our government cheese, we used to go to the deli and had them slice it up for us. You know what I'm saying? So we ain't had that big block.
No, I wasn't that sophisticated. I had the big block. You
know what I'm saying? They used to charge us, but it's all good. We had slices of cheese.
Yeah, man. But you know, that's just the way we came up, and we didn't know no better. You know what I mean? So, you know, as I come into knowledge, I understand that a lot of times we were eating good, but weren't eating good. Like Thanksgiving, you know, or big dinners, roast beef, fried chicken, collard greens, you know,
indeed,
just smoked turkey in your string beans and all that. It tastes good, but it was low quality food, low quality nutrition. You know, it wasn't directly from the ground. It was you know, processed, put somewhere, packaged, frozen, kept away for like a long time, and the nutrients in it degrades over time. You know what I mean? So, you know, we running around doing what we do, smoking weed, hanging out all night, getting up early in the morning, going to work, your whole routine. You burn in nutrition, you burn in minerals, you burn in vitamins, and we're not putting it back. That's the thing. So, you know, we got to learn how to put proper nutrition.
Balance.
You could balance. You could do what you want. You know, do what you want. I ain't trying to mess up your flow. You know, you like that tape, good. But also understand you need fiber in your diet so you can take a good shit. You know what I mean? You get all that bullshit out of you. And, you know, make sure you get some nutrition in juice form if you don't like, you know, because eating kale, eating spinach, a lot of time is rough. Because if you juice it, throw some apples, some great pineapples, make that shit sweet. You're getting the nutrition, and at the same time, it tastes good. You know what I mean? So, definitely for all the viewers out there, make sure you get on your juice game. You can Google that shit. And, you know, as we build madism.info, we're going to have some special guests in the health and wellness area to come on and talk about, you know, specifically how to get your nutrition right, you know, how to feed your body properly, maybe do some cooking and juicing demonstrations, you know, on madism.info. Not maybe. That's what we're going to do. We're going to make that happen. Focus.
Very important.
You know what I'm saying? We're going to focus in.
Man. Listen, people know when I'm on tour and I'm doing my shows, they know I'm doing push-ups on the stage. I'm talking about fitness. Everybody knows this is how it goes down. I'm like, while people have beers in their hand, I'm preaching about health and fitness. You know what I'm saying? But because it's very important. Like you said, we could drink, but make sure you do your fitness, your exercise, you feed your body the correct things. You know what I'm saying? But being that this is the Mad-ism show, I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
Do you remember the very first time that you sparked some ism?
Yes. Well, there's a couple first times, if that makes sense. When I was in the seventh grade, it might have been like the summer between 7th and 8th grade.
Okay.
Growing up East Orange, North Munn Avenue and Park Avenue. My cousins live right there, 321. One of my best friends used to live around the corner on Munn. So that was like my hangout spot. North Munn, Park Avenue, and behind there we had it was like a parking lot with a bunch of abandoned cars, pissy mattresses. You know, we doing backflips on the pissy mat. You know the culture, and we had these cars, and this one car was a blue car, windows smashed out, glass. But we used to sit in there and do things we wasn't supposed to be doing. You know what I mean? You know, and smoking weed. You know, that's the first time. Yeah, but I didn't inhale though.
Right,
So that don't really count, right?
That
So
part.
you know, I was an athlete. Well, let me change that. I was athletic, but I wasn't necessarily the greatest athlete. I played football, a little bit of basketball, baseball, but I was into football like heavy, Pop Warner. So like smoking was like when all my friends kind of went that way with the smoking and other things. You know, even the drinking. So I'm trying to be an athlete. I'm gonna go play for the Dallas Cowboys. You know what I mean? I'm gonna be the star wide receiver. I ain't gonna mess up my. And when it was a reality, that wasn't gonna happen. I was like,
right.
Let me start smoking weed.
Let the smoking begin.
Let the smoke. Nah, not really. But if summer camp, my senior year was the senior year between the summer after my senior year, going into freshman year of college, I got high with the white boys up in camp, and that's the first time I got high, and I had to walk. Right, I was at a cabin that was kind of like a distance from where I had to end up, and there's no light, there's no lights, it's summer camp. It's like for real, the woods up in the mountains. So I had to get from maybe like 20-minute walk through the woods, no flashlight. Right? Now, I went every year, so I knew the path like the back of my hand, but I never walked it high. So the whole time I'm walking, in my mind, I'm seeing snakes. I'm hearing shit that ain't really, you know what I mean? I'm seeing a tree limb. I think it's a rattlesnake, you know what I mean? I was shook the whole walk, and then that's the first time I got high. And then I didn't smoke again until I was probably 21, 22.
Oh wow, that was a gap.
Yeah, again, I was in the sports and athletics, and
Okay.
just wasn't real like any starring. Like I'm sure you've seen it in the city. Like when 85, 86 came, like we had a certain thing called tack heads, right? Mm-hmm. And you didn't want to be a tack head. You know what I mean?
Correct.
You didn't want to hang with it. There was a stigma attached to weed because there was a certain group of people who did certain things, and I didn't want to be classified as that. So I stayed away from it. And then when I was introduced to it by one of my childhood friends who went away to college, was an All-American basketball player. Grades was way better than mine. Full ride scholarship. My boy TJ, we was roommates, and that got him, my boy Rodney. That's when I started smoking, right? And then my mom came over one day, right? And she's sitting there. It was a pack of bamboo on the radiator, and my mom goes, "Hakeem, you didn't tell me TJ smoked." So I go, "Nah, man, that's mine." "Oh, Lord, Jesus Christ. Oh, my baby, not me. What did I do wrong? Oh, my God, Jesus Christ. No.
Yeah.
Right, broke her down. Now, mind you, I'm a school teacher at the time. I'm teaching. So it's like Hakeem smoking weed don't even really go together like that.
Correct.
Right? But I'm getting it in at night, on the weekends. I'm getting sessions. It's daily, right? We got this. That's when I'm deep into ciphers and rhyming, and like everything is a cipher. Come on, let's cipher. Like everything's a cipher at this time. And part of the cipher was the culture. Was the passing around. And that's how I really got into it. And then so.
Okay.
Yeah, those are my first
time that I remembered was I was in high school. I went to Murray Bertram High School, and I was with, I think I had a gap between classes or something. We went across the street, and
what year was this?
90, I want to say like 93, 92, 93, something like that. Might have been 93.
And what grade? What grade? High school, but what grade? Sophomore?
I was in like 11th.
11th, junior?
I was a junior.
So how to roll a blunt is out. Get smoked with I can't wake up.
Everything is chocolate. It's about the chocolate at this time.
It's chocolate, you know what I mean?
Chocolate,
Uh-huh.
So
yeah.
So we walked to the park, And I was like, you know, the peer pressure. I'm like, let me try this, man. And yeah, I got high. I got high, and I'm walking back, and I'm just like, this is an interesting feeling. Like, you know, I think I had to go to gym class after. That's what it was. Yeah. But it was like folk dancing or something. So, you know, I was all right. But yeah, then I went through my phase, and you know, but now mostly, you know, I try to exercise is like my new drug. You know what I'm saying? But oddly enough, man, I love to smell weed. I love to look at it. I love the buds, but I don't really. At OG, they all laugh at me because you know when we go on tour, all the promoters they give you weed sometimes. Like yo, here, yo. So when you know they give it to me, I hold it. You know, I stay with my share. But then like when everybody finishes their weed, they like, yo, Focus. Let me get your weed, man. I know you got the weed. Yeah, because I don't smoke it. So I just, you know, I give it to them. Word up, man. Good times, good times.
Yeah, man. Smoking is, you know, it's definitely, it's been a blessing in a lot of ways, especially like on the other side of success, so to speak. You know, I had to use weed to kind of hustle my way and stay relevant. You know what I mean? Stay in the mix, stay in the culture. And, you know, after years of doing it and it being looked at a certain way, it's refreshing to see the turn, to see it, you know, the stigma be kind of taken away from it, and all these in the closet potheads who are doctors, lawyers, judges, and the like come out, you know, and profess their love for the leaf. So, you know, yeah, that's a beautiful thing, and that's why Madism to use it as the label, as the brand, was so important, because hip hop is responsible for the wave. Like hip hop is such a cultural, it's like the fabric of American culture right now, hip hop, right? And that kind of created the market for weed to now be this billion-dollar industry. And, you know, a lot of what we do as Madism is, you know, opening up doors for our people so they can get connected to the right folks in this lane, you know, and in a way where it's more of a lifestyle. It ain't like somebody beating you over the head with it, somebody not yelling at you, you know, just get introduced to it, especially through music and entertainment, easy, right? And then slip in some jewels every now and then, give people some information, you know what I mean? Connect them to some lawyers and some doctors and some medical programs, and show them how to get the, you know, legal in states that are legal. We can bring folks on to give you the process of how to get legal, you know? And of course, I'm gonna introduce you to the people to Game Face, federally registered Schedule 1 marijuana exempt industrial hemp of New Jersey. My man Robert H. Moore Jr., founder of a privately owned, it's a company that's in the private sector that focuses on research and development of hemp. So there's industrial hemp and what that is, and how to, you know, be involved in an industry that has nothing to do with smoking, has nothing to do with getting high. You know what I'm saying? It has to do with, you know, we look at industrial hemp, taking the biomass from the plant, breaking it down, you know, making shea butters, creams, you know, CBD oils. You know, it's a whole industry that's, you know, it's too vast to really tell you all the things. That's why you go to madism.info, ladies and gentlemen. That's the web magazine, the ultimate cannabis journal. You can get all your, you know, the correct information on how to flip and bounce this weed thing, this cannabis thing, this hemp thing, and we're gonna get all that here on Madism Mondays as we build this thing out. No doubt.
Now, can we just for some of the people that may not be familiar with, and of course he'll give his own introduction or background, but can you just let the people know a little bit about Eric NICKS and who he is? Okay,
yeah. So our guest coming up, I'm gonna plug him in. Gonna bring him in around 5 o'clock.
Yep.
Right. Eric NICKS is a former president of Violator, music industry executive. He's, you know, consulted and been a part of some of your favorite projects, from LL Cool J to Lox, Busta, Missy. I mean, too many to name. The dude's got his name, you know, in a lot of great places. You could just Google Eric NICKS and you'll see what he's been to the music industry, you know, over the last 20 years or so at Def Jam and Violator. Foxy Brown was kind of his entry to the music industry. He managed Foxy Brown and got her kind of started. Dude is phenomenal. And we build regularly around current events. And, you know, we have back and forths all the time about certain individuals, the Jay-Z's of the world, the Barack Obamas of the world, and their connection to, black people, our culture, so forth and so on. And with everything going on right now, with, George Floyd, rest in peace, with Breonna Taylor, rest in peace, with, all the many victims of police brutality, right? You see hip hop culture, like where's hip hop culture? How is hip hop culture gonna move? You know what I'm saying? So he's got some really interesting perspectives of, the connection between hip hop and how to kind of make things move, politically and economically. So it's gonna be a great conversation with E.
Nice, man. I wonder if he was there when I interned at Violator. For almost a year. But I don't know if he was there when I was there. This was like before 50 dropped his album.
He was there.
He was there?
Yes, yeah, he was there. He's probably he was VP for a minute, and of course he got became president, and he's pretty much second in command after Chris Lighty and the Lighty family, I should say, for a while. Yeah, he put
Mona
together. Yeah, Mona was there. Yeah, all those folks were there. Mona, of course. Big shout out to her. But he's he's been he's an influencer in a lot of ways, and now he's a very successful entrepreneur. He owns Jersey Mike's Subway shop.
Nice.
Yeah, and he's doing extremely well over there. I don't know if he owns one or two of them, but his understanding of business and how to take this hip hop thing to really affect change in a meaningful way. He's got some really dope perspective, so it's gonna be a great conversation with him.
That's awesome, man.
Yes. NICKS, my man.
Yeah. So let me see. Hold on, man. So tell me about your latest project, man. Talk to me. I mean,
Madism. Who Want This Smoke? That's like the culmination of the last 5 years. 2015, I did this joint called Madism. 2015, also called Smoke Madism, featuring Tretch, Do It All, Keith Murray. Got a remix of it with Minty Burns and Dime a Dozen. Domingo did the beat. Went to him right fast. I'm trying to do something to represent Madism. I wanted to have that Madism feel, but no Madism sound. And he gave me exactly what I needed. Boom, boom, boom. The video's out. Y'all can go check that out on YouTube. And then the ball started rolling. Started the magazine, and also got a documentary on the way, Hip Hop and Hemp: The Fabric of American Culture. And then I did the song What Is Madism with KRS and Steel. Phenomenal. Actually, but the first song, before I even knew I was doing all of this, I did the joint Say Hi featuring Sadat. And that came about from doing a project with Brooklyn Bodega. And, not to give all the jewels away, I did it for one thing, and it didn't manifest. My guy Focus hits me like 6-7 months later, 8 months later, like, yo, man, I'm sitting on this joint. They're not doing nothing with it. Let's do something with it. So I finished it up and threw Sadat X on it, thanks to you. He got that cracking, and that ended up being the first song recorded for the album, but I didn't know what I was doing at the time. Yeah. So for all you young folks out there, or anybody in the industry, just do what you do, and then it all comes together. Just do what you do. Just do what you do. Bro. Bottom line, you never know. You got a jewel in the stash, and then boom. But so the project, is the culmination of all that early work, and then it also features Drez, Sadat X, of course, Thurston Howell III, Weedem Zoes down here from Miami, ill crew of Haitian MCs. Then they got it on lock down here. Big shout out to them. And who else? Domingo did it, of course, did Madism 2015. Breakbeat Lou did What Is Madism. Got Don Beats, Mateo Getz on production. Kenny Parker, can't forget Kenny Parker. Big shout out to Kenny Parker, BDP all day, every day. And it's an album, a project dedicated to weed. Madism, that's all we do.
There we go, man. And I have one more question for you. What keeps you motivated to continue to make music? Because I saw you, I think one of the last times I actually saw you in the physical was we were on stage in Atlantic City.
Yeah.
At the
it was the
KRS-One show.
Yeah.
That was a dope show.
Old school festival they do every year.
That was that was a very pleasant surprise to see you there.
My man. Yeah, no doubt.
Word up.
You know when the real hip hop is in the building. Certain faces just pop up out of nowhere. You're like, okay, the real hip hop is in the building. Focus.
Yeah.
What's up?
Word.
Yeah.
Nah, that's what's up. So what keeps you, motivated?
Ah, man, it's just like, it's what we do. Like, before we called it hip hop, we was just doing what we do.
Right. Indeed.
That's it. We was rhyming, graph on the steels. That was life. That was the fabric of our life. Just that's the shit we was into. So it's like, that's the culture. It ain't the music business. The music business is just a way to make money out of this shit. It ain't the music business isn't this shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or the whatever business it is, that's the business of this shit. You know what I'm saying? And you have a business model or you create a company. We've created companies. I have a company, right? And you just do what you do. And if you just the expectation that you have is just to be the best version of you.
Bottom line
is give people you. Yeah, that's it. Like, and then once you figure that out, fuck these niggas. They don't know what they talking about. Watch this. I can show you better than I can tell you. In terms of shopping your demo or trying to get people to buy. People like, and it's funny because what's going on today with the George Floyd situation and all the police brutality. That's stuff that I've been rhyming about for 25, 30 years, bro. And I'm seeing mad people making songs. It's a good thing. Please keep doing it. But now it's, we got to make these songs. Oh, yeah, but our people been getting murdered.
Right.
Our people been getting fucked over. This ain't fucking new. Our people, it's on camera with but this is our brothers and sisters who act like it don't happen. And then, you try to wake people up. Oh, man, get over there with that. Oh, get over there with that. Oh, get over. Now everybody's over here with that. So it's a great day. It's a sad day, but it's a great day because a lot of people are now waking up. So, people, what they say? Somebody said, it's basically, I feel, what do they call it? Not justified. I feel, it's just the stamp, like a lot of the things, like as a rapper, a lot of my bars from 20 years ago sound like they was written today.
It's a beautiful thing under terrible circumstances, but it's a beautiful thing.
It's a beautiful thing.
The one thing that I want to see more of, and one of the agendas that I continuously try to push is the importance of health and fitness, because through health and fitness, you're able to, it's really like prevention, right? You're able to heal yourself before you even get sick. You know what I mean? But it's also the discipline that comes with it and how it spills over to the other parts of your life. You know what I mean? Once you garner that discipline to get up and say, man, I gotta go exercise, then it's almost like by default, you don't want to go exercise, and then you're gonna go eat shit all day, Right. Unless you can eat shit all day and then you're just, working really hard, but you can't eat the shit all day and not work out.
Right. Well, it's about maximizing, right? And you can't eat the shit all day and maximize the best you. But, before we go on, I need you to send me the link to this live stream so I can send it to E.
Which you have in your email.
What happened? Exactly. Thank you. Oh, duh.
He said, I'm high. Don't mind me.
You don't mind me? There you go.
You know what I want to try? Because we're gonna experiment live on the air, man. I want to try to see if we could play this video and let's see something, man. So, one moment, my brother. So you're supposed to hit the share screen joint. Because I'm very curious to see.
I just sent it to him from my phone.
Okay.
So just email link.
Let's see. Okay, so tell me if. Tell me.
Yep. Yeah, I see. There we go.
Now tell me if you hear something. Did you hear it or no?
No. Yes.
You do?
Yes.
You hear it clearly or like?
Nah, I don't really hear it now.
You don't really hear it? Okay, hold on.
I don't know what happened.
All right, hold on. Let me just change something here because you know we experimenting.
It's all good. And Eric just hit me back. He's on deck.
Okay.
So should be hitting us up at 5.
All right. So I want to play this video, man, because this is Hakeem Green featuring Carl Thomas. This is not no small time thing we talking about here.
Yeah, and this is on the album Madism, Who Want This Smoke. It's called I Believe, Put It in the Air, featuring my homie Carl Thomas.
So hold on, just
produced by DJ Heron. Can't forget DJ Heron. Produced by DJ Heron.
You don't really hear it?
No, I don't hear it at all. But I see a mute thing. Okay, that's up. It's up.
You don't hear it, right?
No.
Okay, so let me just change this really fast, and I know why that is. We'll go to here.
There we go.
All right, so do you still hear me or not really?
I hear you.
All right, man, let's introduce this video, my brother. I'm gonna put it on the big screen. Go ahead.
Oh yeah. This is I Believe, Put It in the Air, featuring Carl Thomas, produced by DJ Heron. This is the latest single off the album Madism, Who Want This Smoke? Yeah.
Relax social distancing and other mitigation measures they've put in place. The president's been itching to begin easing the nationwide guidelines meant to stem the outbreak and contain the economic fallout. Well, the weekly jobless numbers are out, and they are a staggering show of the early impact of the new coronavirus on the economy. Around 3.3 million people filed for unemployment in the past week, far exceeding the previous record from 1982.
This goes out that I will use my right for the right to be me. My God, believe that I'll choose this right for the right to be free. Set up that believe I'll treat tonight like it's 420. Madism in effect, hip-hop changed the game. Everybody smoke good, my grower changed the strain. I used to smoke for the thrill, now I do it for the pain. I stay pushed straight, I do it for the gains. It's like a revolution, Prince with purple rain. Purple kush, purple haze, like cheese in a maze. I put lights in the tunnel, LEDs supply the waves. All we do is spark medicine, that shit is all the rage. Remember back in the days, trade bags of haze from the corner bodega. Poppy put it in some lays. It was rhymes in a cipher with blunts in the air. Then off with a shorty couch locked in a chair. My shorty look exotic, weed kinda rare. She said the weed was erotic with smoke in the air. Isn't makes the time go by life without a care. So roll it up, lay it up, put it in the air. I believe in happy faces, yes, this is true. Love is just for special people, yes, just like you. If you're reaching for the stars, you know you can do anything you want to if you just get into. But I believe that I will use my right for the right to be me. I believe that I'll choose this fight for the right to be free. I believe I'll treat tonight like it's I get better than Batman when it's time to Johnny Blaze. I get pounds of sugar hill, I get dollars of sugar rays. I keep the aromatic, it's a passion, not a habit. Hakeem go with green, it's like carrots go with rabbits. It's so automatic how the weed gets lit. Duplicate the seed, clones get killed. Hawk what you puffin' with, I know that ain't the fifth, but in can't get gelato. Wanna lick, I got flavors, pop flavors, they call me Flavor Flav. Gorilla Glue number 4, and Super Haze. Afghani and cough, sour diesel gets me off. I'm looking for a rental property, something like a law. So I can grow these trees just in time for Christmas. Ain't Nick with the gift list. I know you wanna hit this. Look for Madism when it's time to light a flare. Then roll it up, light it up, put it in the air. I believe in happy faces, yes, this is true. Love is just for special people, yes, just like you. If you're reaching for the stars, you know you can do anything you want to if you just get into the groove. I believe that I will use my right for the right to be me. I believe that I'll choose this fight for the right to be free. I believe I'll treat you like it's 420. Like it's 420. Oh, 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 oh.
Yes, it's true. Yeah.
A one-time direct government, the Trump administration them out in 3 weeks. The payments are based on your latest tax filing. Individuals who earn $75,000 or less will get $1,200.
Yes, sire.
Yeah, big shout out to Shock B. Big shout out to JB and Sutherland. Big shout out to Class. You know, of course, Carl Thomas, DJ Heron. Big shout out, big shout out, big shout out. Love that video. Great work. Big shout out to the homie Benny Boom on giving me some jewels, you know, to run with. Yeah.
Great. That was definitely a dope joint, man. Definitely a dope joint. And
thank you, brother.
Very professional looking visual, man. Looked like you spent some dollars on that one.
A little something.
A little something. So I ain't trying to get in your pockets and nothing, but
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, big shout. Man. Big shout out to Game Face, no doubt. Big shout out to Growing Farms, Rob Moore Jr., DJ Bay. No, big shout out to them. Can't forget them. Big shout out to Fluff. Big shout out to Cool Reek Ali. You know, big shout out to Freddie Sage. These are all the people I got in the cannabis industry around the country that's been real supportive of the Mad as a movement. You know, I want to shout them out, no doubt. Yeah, big shout out to Tariq Buds. Yeah, Peacemakers.
Word up. Well, we got Eric NICKS is in the building. Should we
let's bring him in. Let's bring him in. No doubt, no doubt, no doubt.
Let's bring him in.
Peace, peace, peace to the God. Peace to the God. Peace to the God.
Yo, what up, bro?
What's up, E?
How's everything?
Everything's good, man. Yeah, I see you. You know, you got your Afro pick, you got your Black Power joint there.
I ain't gonna lie to you. I haven't had a haircut in 3 months, bro.
Yeah, no, it's kind of fresh though. Kind of fresh.
You know what I mean? I normally have it kind of low, but what you gonna do in these times, man? We gotta just do what we gotta do. Let it grow. The gray coming in, everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's dope. That's right. That's wisdom right there. That's wisdom. Yeah.
What's going
good,
on,
man? Yeah, so we here on Madism TV, Madism Info.
Thanks for having me. You know, I'm always a fan of what you do and the work that you put in, bro.
Dude, you've always been supportive throughout my career, and I so 100%. Appreciate that.
Thanks,
yeah, you know, but you know, with Madism, you know, of course, it's cannabis and all the cannabis-related conversation. But Madism was, for me and Tuffy, when we did the song, we still want to be so connected to consciousness that we said ism is racism, socialism, fascism, communism, capitalism, all the different isms that kind of affect our lives, right? So we can have those types of conversations on Madism because, you know, we can approach it from that. So when we see what's going down right now with George Floyd, rest in peace, in the aftermath of that, you know, that opens the door to talk about racism. And, you know, me and you, Bill, all the time about the state of our people. And
almost every day.
Almost every day, right? We get it in. So,
No
you know,
doubt.
I think it's dope that you are, you know, we're able to bring you on because that conversation right now in terms of ism is the most important conversation.
It's so crazy too. It's like all the isms that you mentioned, from fascism to socialism to racism to capitalism, all of those isms, it seems like we're dealing with all at once right now. Like it's all bunched up into one whole thing right now. You have fascist people in the streets inciting the riots and the looting, and you know, you have the capitalist people who don't really care about nothing but their money. You know, you have the burning of bus people who only care about, you know, what they want to care about, and it's just so much going on, and nobody's really taking a breath to think about what's best for everybody. So, you know, yeah.
So, you know, looking at the George Floyd situation, and this being so different than everything else we've experienced, you know, from that perspective, police brutality, watching our people get murdered on TV, basically, you know, something's different about this. Why do you think that's so?
I just think it's a boiling point, right? We knew what was real during Emmett Till. We knew the real. It just wasn't filmed, right? We knew the real. And at some point, it's a pandemic right now. And within a 1 month period, we had 4 of the same types of police brutality during the pandemic. We can't even get a break during the pandemic when everybody's supposed to be in the crib. You know, Brianna's in her house sleep, and the guy that they want to arrest is already in custody, and she still ends up dead. Yeah, it's just to the point. Was at a boiling point. They say they use the phrase "don't resist." You see throughout the George Floyd's video, there was no resistance. They took him out of his car, put him in handcuffs, sat him down, walked him across the street, put him in a car, beat him up, took him out. But at no point in any of the video does it show any resistance for an alleged handoff of a fake $20 bill. Like it's not even a violent crime, and you still end up dead. At some point, you know, we tried a lot of the Martin way. Now it's a little bit time for a little bit
well, what is the as you see it, because we see white people go through stuff with the cops. I see so many videos, white folks with guns, white folks with machetes, white folks begging to get killed, white folks attacking the police, and for some reason they can exhibit all types of restraint, control. They can, you know, execute, you know, policy and procedure the way it's supposed to be. But with us, it's
deep rooted. It's when you see a skin color, you have a perception. When you see when they see a white person, they see them trying to handle business and do something properly. When they see us, they think we're lazy. They think we're always trying to scheme and getting over. They look at all of us as criminals. They can't differentiate between a black man who's complying and a black man who maybe just caught up in a moment, but he should make it back home to his family, versus a real hardened criminal who poses a threat to him. We all pose a threat to them. That's how they feel. Whereas with white people, they feel like, oh, they have a right to do this. Then all of a sudden they can revert back to the law and their proper training when it comes to white people. Even if they walk into the state building, fully loaded weapons, spitting and pushing them.
What the fuck is that? No, keep
Spitting
going.
And pushing them. There was no tear gas in Michigan. There wasn't one arrest. There was no pepper spray. There was no curfew. None of that. None of that applied. You know, I had a conversation with my son, and I just put up a post about my son, just bigging him up, because, you know, I'm very proud of him as the man that he turned into since I signed him so many years ago. And you know, they just look at us completely different on every aspect, on every angle. They just see our black skin and they just attack us differently.
Right. So when you say they, right, because we don't mean all white people, because we have relationships with plenty of white folks that don't see us that way or don't treat us that way, right?
Okay, so I never, because I can't let them turn me into them, right? So I have to be me, and I'm educated enough to know that it's not all white people.
Right. I
understand that it's not all cops, and yeah, you can tell me, you know, all cops are not bad, but until the bad cops until the good cops start speaking out against the bad cops, they're all lumped in. Yeah. Yo, Hak, if me and you hang out together, brother, and we go and you do fuck shit, guess what? Guess what
you're
people gonna
lumped
think
in.
about me?
You're lumped in.
I could be completely opposite of that. Just happen to have a relationship with you, and we always kick it and hang out, and people see us together, but they always see you doing fuck shit. Guess what they gonna think about me? Oh yeah, he hang out with that dude that do fuck shit. He's a fuck boy too. That's what they're gonna think.
Mm-hmm.
It's not gonna be any different. So,
Focus. You want to hop in?
No, go ahead. Let me finish.
When you have and no, it's just so crazy. Like I seen so many videos in the last couple of days from a young black lady sitting in a park a few feet away from her apartment building in Atlanta, and a white lady who's pregnant beefing with her about sitting there minding her business on video. The girl is videoing her, and she's calling the cops. Her husband was so embarrassed that her husband walked away from this pregnant white lady. Yo,
I didn't see that video. You guys send that to me.
I'll send you. It's the craziest shit ever, because the black girl is not cursing at her. She's not beefing at her. She's just sitting on a park bench, and I'm not exaggerating, chilling. Lady comes up to her, beefing with her. The girl goes, "Yo, why you bothering me?" And then it gets to the point where the white lady's on a phone with the police, saying she's threatening me and my children.
Are you serious?
The children are 10, 15 feet away. The black girl didn't say anything about the kids. The black girl even said on video, "I would never say anything about a kid. I don't care what skin color they are."
Well, this was a brand new video. This is something that happened before the Central Park.
I saw this yesterday.
So this is this happened before Central Park or after Central Park?
After Central Park.
How dare you? After this, everybody's seen this Central Park situation.
After Central Park, hold on.
You got the gall.
After Central Park, there's two brothers working out in a gym in an office building in which they have an office in.
I saw that.
Saw that video. It's all the.
Well, describe it. Describe the video so the people who are viewing also.
So the video. So white man, privilege. These two brothers not bothering anybody, getting their workout on. Same way you do every day. Same way, just getting their workout on. Dude goes, "Yo, what y'all doing?" Guy was working out. Says, "Yeah, but why here?" He's like, "We have an office here." "What office?" Black dude goes, "It's none of your business. I just told you we have an office here." And then he proceeds to, continue. Of course, it escalates to the point where I'm going to call the cops because y'all not supposed to be here. I asked you what office you in, and you won't tell me. I don't have to tell you. Wow. You asked me why I'm here. I'm working out in this gym, minding my business, not disrupting nobody. And you asked, I'm not obligated to answer to you.
You made me just think of, like, it's a new world, it's a new day, right? And in the last 25, 30 years, black and brown people have advanced tremendously in society. Leaps and bounds to the point of seeing a black president, right? So there's a lot of entitled space that's no longer entitled space, right? And they haven't figured out how to adapt to black and brown people being able to be in these spaces, and they want to see us pushed out. I think a lot of that is what's going on right now. Like, it's a white lash.
They just don't want to inhabit the same. They don't want to occupy the same space as us.
They just want your shit. They just want your shit.
They really want to be exclusive from us. They really don't think that you should have the ability to be in this space with me. I don't want to walk in this gym and work out and see your black face every day. That's not what I want to do. And
I'll call the cops and have them remove you, kill you if necessary.
Yeah,
that's some cold shit. Yeah, that's some real cold shit.
Even though they legitimately had an office space in the. This is where we are in this world. Like I over the last week, from me going crazy on social media, because you know me, I don't have a filter. I've lost 30 friends.
Wow.
I lost 30 friends. Easy. because I can't, because I don't have, I no longer, I don't have the discipline to just scroll by and not chime in. And I've lost the filter, to have a decent conversation.
Now,
because it's out of control, bro.
It's out of control.
Yeah.
Now, like the space that you've created for yourself as an individual, executive, entrepreneur, right? You know, you're in a space that not many of our people get to navigate, so you feel it differently. How do you manage that? Like when you say I just lost 30 friends, like you know what I mean? Like it's a difference. I mean, most of us are not losing friends because we don't have those relationships to lose them.
Yeah, that's true. You know, it's crazy because a young lady messaged me today and said, "Wait, on your timeline, you seeing people tripping out?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, absolutely." Because I have friends that, you know, from business to I have white friends from business who are smart enough not to chime in, which bothers me a little bit too, right? And then I have a hobby. I'm a competitive bowler. Those people have no filter. Those white people have no filter. They just wow out. They just yeah, but you know, he shouldn't have been a criminal. And yeah, but you know, cops have a tough job and everything is about and they're animals for looting and what, like I don't have the ability to just keep scrolling and be like, yeah, he don't get it. I it's something about me that in my makeup that doesn't allow me to keep scrolling. I have to stop and correct them and check them and keep and when I look up, I just spent 2 hours of my day with an idiot. And you know what they say? They say when you arguing with somebody who's an idiot from a distance, people can't tell who's who.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so
yeah, I've learned that the hard way. I learned that the hard way.
I gotta remove it, man. I just gotta be like, yeah, I'm out, man. I just gotta.
Yeah, that's kind of where I had to get to because you know it's but so many people you gonna block. You know, I'm gonna block you. That's like, you know what? Let me just keep it moving because most people just don't have the information to like you say. How come more white people aren't saying anything? Well, what are they gonna say really? They don't really have the understanding, the historical context. They're never forced to deal in our world to get it. So, and they need to be talking to each other. They're not only talking to us.
Check this out, right? My spiritual leader said something really profound to me this morning. He said, people will always be critical of things they don't understand. So deep, right? Because, you know, some people don't play the stock market because they don't understand it. So if you ask them why they don't play the stock market, they'll be critical. It's just that you don't understand it. That's why you spend your money and you invest in things that you understand, right? If you go to invest your money in something, real estate, whatever, before you invest in it, you got to know how it works, right? Before you can be critical. When they come to invest in, they don't take the time to invest in our community. To understand us, so naturally, they're going to be critical because they're not of the same circumstances we are. So they're thinking, and I commented on another guy's post, they're thinking that their hard work and got them where they are and not their white privilege, right? Whereas we're lazy and looking for a handout. That's what they really believe.
Yeah.
That's what they believe. They don't realize that because of your skin color in America, you have an advantage. They really can't understand that. They believe that they woke up with the same me and them woke up with the same opportunity. They don't realize that I have to work 15 times harder and bring 10 times more stuff to the table than you are just to be competitive. Yeah. They don't understand. They really don't get that.
Yeah. All right, so
and that's the problem.
Fo, you want to hop in?
Yeah, I was gonna ask for first and foremost, peace, Eric.
What's up, brother?
You know, given the madness and the stuff that historically we as a people have continuously, it's been going on for years. what do you think about like solutions? Like, what do you think are some of the solutions that we can finally, as a people,
I'm so happy you asked that. And me and Hakeem, me and Hak talk about this like literally every day. I'm so happy you asked this. Well, let's take the George Floyd situation. You want to put a pin in it and you want to make strives to stopping it. Whomever is going to be president and this is why voting is so important. Whomever is going to be president, when we sit down and we create a black agenda, or when we take a black agenda to Joe Biden, one thing we have to do, and we have to ask him to do when it comes to a situation like the George Floyd situation, we have to say to him, Joe Biden, you have to get all 50 governors together, right? And you have to say to them, or you have to implement a law, or you have to get them to agree that when there is a situation like George Floyd, there has to be an independent counsel that comes in and deals with these police officers and prosecutes the case, so that it's not the local DA, because they have developed a relationship day in and day out with these brothers. So that's what it is. You have to do that. You have to bring in independent counsel. And so I'm happy for Jay-Z that Jay-Z was able to kick it with the governor of Minnesota and get him to agree to bring in the attorney general and take it away from the local district attorney, because you already saw it was about to go down. The local district attorney already accepted the bogus autopsy and already put it out there and already just threw a feeler out there that there may be probable cause to say that there wasn't a crime committed. It was already being set up, right? So it was imperative that this happened. And so this should be a mandate every time there's an Ahmaud Arbery or a George Floyd or Breonna Taylor or any of them, Trayvon Martin, Sandra Bland. I mean, we got it's too many of them.
Too many.
But every time that happens, so that it don't get lost at the grand jury, like it happened with Eric Garner. Because you ask me, I don't think that the DA fought it the proper way. They know what they want to do to lose it. But when you bring in the attorney general that doesn't have the biased opinion, it was gone. You saw in Georgia. Hold on one second. You saw in Georgia, until the video surfaced, in the Ahmaud Arbery case, those brothers those white men were gonna get away with it.
Oh yeah. And that's so, like, that particular situation, it's so obvious a lynching, from the neighbor who videotapes to the daughter who videotapes to, like, they planned to kill this brother. It was a plan. It was a lynching.
It was a lynching.
And for 2 months, there's video footage of a lynching going around the country. Nobody's doing nothing about it.
Yeah.
So
why? Because the district attorney understands that county in which he operates in is a heavily pro-police county. So when she convicts them, when she's up for re-election, they remember that. And so now she's out of a job. That's how come there has to be an independent counsel to come in and try these cases. Right.
Well, you made me think of earlier the police unions and how powerful the police unions are, the PVAs, the National Fraternal Order of Police, how politically powerful they are as an institution, and how it's really difficult for politicians to buck their control. So and the attorney general basically is the top cop, right? But in the case of a Trump administration, we know the attorney general is not going to be favorable to what we're asking in terms of this police review committee, right? We so need Joe Biden to be the president, so we can so we can get the proper AG in place to then we can speak their language.
Because look at what the president is saying now. Yo, if they throw rocks, pretend they shooting a gun. He literally said to the public, if they're to the police officers across the nation, if they are throwing rocks at you, pretend that they are shooting a gun at you. Handle it the same way. That's what he's saying. Mind you, what nobody is paying attention to is that the protests, and this is from me talking to the brothers and sisters on the front line and in private conversation that don't have to lie to me, are telling me that the protests are turning violent once they start tear gassing and pepper spraying.
Yeah, I've seen
shooting with rubber bullets.
Yeah.
Further, there's a whole nother organization that is in these cities creating this havoc, and they all have one thing in common. They have they're white kids with skateboards that are inciting the riots to start these things. And so I'm not saying that all black people are not involved in the rioting, but for the most part, for the majority of it, you see what's happening to the point where I've watched video after video.
White kids, white folks, police officers.
Of peaceful protesters stopping kids from looting.
Right.
Peaceful protest saying, "Yo, I'm getting blamed for this. You got to chill." I'm not talking one video. I'm not talking two
video
videos.
after
I'm talking
video.
About 10. I'm talking about I've seen 10 today.
I seen 20, 30 videos
of
white kids inciting violence. And black kids trying to, whoa, don't.
What you doing?
Going to spray paint, Black Lives Matter, anarchy. Nah, nigga.
There was a kid in D.C.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
There was a kid in D.C. who was it was like a cipher. And it was like they were like burning something. They were like putting like, stuff to keep the flame going. And the kid from DC was like, "Yo, stop!" He was literally by himself. He was like, "Yo, stop!" Another white person coming to throw something on. He was like, "Yo, I'm telling you, stop." He said, "Yo, the next one to do something, y'all gonna have to deal with me because we getting blamed for it, and y'all get to go home. I live here. Y'all get to go home after this. I gotta deal with this shit every day. Y'all gotta chill."
Yep.
And so he finally called, but I see video after video after video of this every single all between yesterday and today. I've literally seen 10 videos of people stopping them. So they're trying to change the narrative because that's all they want. That's all they want. And then the biggest thing was, what was Trump doing when he said, I hear it's gonna be MAGA day tomorrow? He was literally calling the people to say, come out, come to the White House and get it on with you. It's like, let's have a
his role is to tear this government apart. His role is to cause so much disunity and infighting and civil strife that we're not going to be able to function as a government with this guy's president.
Yeah. Like he really wants a race war.
He wants a race war. And even if getting him out, he's ignited something in a lot of white people that we're gonna be dealing with this for a long time, bro. Even voting him out, we're gonna be dealing with this.
For sure. But I'm telling you, there's gotta be specific policies in place that make the police officers think twice about this. Because too often you see them getting away with it and they know, I can punch you in the face and all I'm going to do is deal with internal affairs, or I can beat you up.
It'll go on my record. I may or may not get a warning. Nothing's going to happen to me. Stop it.
Nothing's going to happen to me. Nothing's going to happen to me.
Derek Chauvin, he's got multiple police brutality cases, murders.
So does the Asian kid. That's how come the Asian dude was just so calm sitting there going, I have police officers in my family. I have police officers that I'm very, very cool with that told me, if that was me and Chauvin would have went to blows. Real talk. We went to blows. Real talk. All the police officers, instead, if you want to calm the rioters down, the police people around the nation in San Francisco, New York, LA, Chicago, Philadelphia, all you got to do is tell the protesters you with them. We're with you. We're going to say, as long as you guys don't loot and riot, we're with you. As long as you keep calm, we're going to support your protest. You don't have to yell at it and curse at it. You don't have to spit at it. You don't have to throw rocks at us. You don't have to do any of that stuff because we with you. If they did that, you would see an outpouring of peaceful protests. But what ends up happening is they can't do it the way they did it in Michigan with us. They don't have the ability. They don't even have they're showing how they're policing these protests is how they police our communities every day. Yo, shut up, sit down, go do what I say. And as soon as you back talk, they start punching you. They want to get your rocks off, everything. Right. I have police officers tell me, yo, I saw a police officer beefing with a man, and then they eventually put him in, and the police officer wanted to get his rocks off, so they held him down for a few minutes, let the police officer get his rocks off, and then they let him back up. Like, he told me this. I was like, yo, y'all cool with that? He was like, not me. I was like, but you got to understand something. There's no differentiate. There's no difference between.
If you don't stop it, then you with it. If you don't step in, you with it.
The same way the looters make the protesters look bad, the bad cops make you look bad. It's no different. It's no different.
You know, for me, I'm from a solution standpoint, I always like to look at like us as a people. You know, us accountability for ourselves, unity amongst ourselves, and figuring out ways like how do we police the police, right? I think it should be a mutual respect, the way I see it. Of course, yes, they have a tough job and they have to deal with, you know, violent felons and things of that nature, but they also come across people who are not violent, who, like you said, Eric, and maybe had a bad day, man, and I'm stressed here and I don't really want to hear nothing. You know, it's just a lack of respect that I think that's going on. And I just think we just kind of got to get back to the foundation of it all, which is just
brother, I agree. I agree. Yeah, I agree with you 100%. But as we could see with the George Floyd case, he did everything he was supposed to do.
No, for
he
sure.
He listened, he complied, and he still ended up dead. And that's why it's at a boiling point, because they want to tell us we got to have mutual respect. When we have mutual respect, we still end up dead. There's no. They say, yo, when Colin Kaepernick tried to kneel, there was outrage. We try to peacefully march and protest. They shoot us with tear gas and rubber bullets and ignore us. Yeah. So you leave us nothing. You leave us nothing on the table. If somebody can tell us how can we effectively protest to be heard, we'd be open to listen to it. But there is no effective way for them.
No.
Basically, take what we're doing to you.
Yeah. I think it's important to note that this is Minneapolis PD, same place where Philando Castile,
no doubt,
was murdered, who legally possessed a firearm.
And 143 more.
Wow. He legally did everything right. Like, he did everything right. It still got murdered.
Mind you.
With the baby in the back.
With the wife and the baby.
And the baby in the back.
You killed that man in front of his baby, and he did nothing wrong.
Like, technically, when that cop got off, and Minneapolis could have burned down right then.
I'm surprised he didn't, bro.
I'm surprised. You think about that. He did a love member of the community, school teacher, a school aid,
because
got a license to possess. Tells the officer, listen. I'm sorry.
We allowed for the police officer to say he was scared. With the guy's hands on the wheel, saying, "Yo, I have a legal firearm on me. You were supposed to." Handed him the things and everything, and still ended up dead. It's at a boiling point now. It's every time moving forward is going to reach this level. Every time moving forward. You're not going to be able to get away with it anymore. It's not going to happen. It's reached the boiling point. It has.
You know, my thing is, how do we get it to where it doesn't reach that point anymore? You know,
again, you gotta have the special counsel. You gotta show them that it's more than just the internal affairs that's gonna give them a slap on the wrist. You got to show them that they're not going to be treated any differently from criminals if when you kill an unarmed black man. When you kill an unarmed black man, listen to me. When you kill an unarmed black man, you're going to be treated and prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. That's not going to be an investigation. You're not going home on paid leave. You're not doing that. That's
The
not going to happen.
taxpayers aren't footing the bill. It's coming out of your pension.
Yeah, you're not doing. That's got to stop. That's the once you tell them that, that's what's got to stop. They're gonna be like, okay, cool.
You know,
it'll slow down a lot.
It will. I look at.
It'll definitely slow down a lot.
I look at what this COVID-19, this whole thing, right? And I look at the power that it had, right? Where you make them hurt is in the pockets, right? So as a people, if we stop riding the train, like that money is what makes everything go. And I just realized that now they're giving out all this money. And of course, this money isn't going to be free because that's just going to have to be paid back at some point. But us as a people, what if we decided to police our own communities? But who wants to stand up to do that, right? Like, what incentives are there? What incentives are there for us to say, you know what, we're gonna patrol our own block? Don't tell me that there's no money, because there's money. They just choose not to put that money in there because
that's a great point. And I think that there's just more brothers who just have to start to be put into the urban communities, and you got to take the scared white guys out of it who are overzealous. You got to remove them. Like if you go into Chinatown in Manhattan, and you see the average police officer in Chinatown in Manhattan, he's Chinese. He speaks their language. He understands them. He gets it. He knows where everything is at and where the criminals are and who, because if you're not from there, and if you're not, like, if me and you walked into Chinatown and two people walk down the street, we're not going to be able to differentiate between who's the criminal and who's not. We won't know. They look the same. They dress the same. Same thing in our community. I dress like, I put on a hoodie. Right. I got on jeans and Air Force Ones and Jordans. I dress the same way. So you can't differentiate between me by just the physical appearance. If you're not from my community, you're not going to be able to differentiate between me and the criminal. I wake up every morning to provide for my family legally. You feel me? Like, but you're not going to, how are you going to tell if you don't know our community? And that's the problem. And I'm not a big fan of segregation, but certain parts of it has to be implemented. You have to think smart. You have to be strategic.
Yeah, you have to.
For sure.
You have to. The community has to police itself.
For sure.
And to your point, focus, like, how do we do it ourselves, right? In most black communities, there should be black politicians. There should be black people running for office, controlling the hiring and the firing, right? So to your point, that takes us stepping up our game a great deal. And then a community board has to be established. I think Newark is a great test model of what you're saying. Since Ras Baraka has been in office, there's been a community board established. Newark experienced the largest drop in crime in 60 years. Over the last few years, crime is like plummeted, right? And the engagement with law enforcement is community based, right? And then he established a street sweepers organization that are just people attached to the city with yellow shirts on, walking around just on foot, engaging with the city. That level of engagement, you know what I mean? It makes sure everybody's good. It's their own people, looks like them. It's not outsiders coming in and doing it. It's not, you know what I mean? So that level of engagement on the local level, city government, county government, state government, we got to do a better job of stepping up and taking command of these positions, and at the same time establishing situations for our people to thrive.
Agreed.
Yeah, the biggest change is going to come from education, though, man. Unfortunately, knowledge itself is the most important thing, right? Like if you the problem with if we're going to address crime, and we're talking about crime, the biggest issue with crime, especially black on black crime, is that we don't value our own lives. Right. So how are we going to value somebody else's life? Right? You don't know when you don't know your potential, when you don't have the encouragement to be something special, to step out and be great, and you don't have that ability, you don't have that in your life because of your circumstances, because of the cards you were dealt, it's easy for you to go out. Like there's 13 and 14-year-old kids that have no issue with putting a 9 in their waist and blasting somebody, and don't even think about it. right? Because they view themselves as, yeah, I can be next in that instance, right? They're not thinking about, I could become this, I could be doing that. And you can't say, well, that should be taught at home, because everybody don't have that stability at home. But if we can create a curriculum in the inner city school systems to compete for these kids' education the way entertainment does, in terms of teaching them knowledge itself, and teaching them, and this is real talk, like, because people take this as a talking point and move past it. But I'm telling you, when you teach somebody about themselves, they get a deeper feeling of self-awareness, of how important life becomes. So then, like you and me, in order for one of us to have to take a life, our backs have to be completely against the wall, and there's no other resort, right? Like, there's no other option. It's either me or that person at that point. It's a defense. But these kids are on offense, and they don't have no problem. And it's almost a badge of honor to say how many teardrops you have on your face in certain parts of the country, right? And how much work you put in to be a part of that. But if you can somehow compete for these kids' minds and change that, that will change the whole paradigm shift. But people don't understand. They only want to put a Band-Aid on a wound. They don't want to dive deep and really do the work. And the work starts in the education. You can model the Hasidic Jewish community. I'm telling you, they do it right. Does every community have its issues and what they do and both? Of course. But in terms of raising their children,
it's about investing in their people, and whatever it takes to invest in the next generation, that's what they're gonna do.
You gotta know. I had a conversation with Michael Eric Dyson, and he told me, he said, "Yo, I teach a class on Jay-Z." He said that's the most well attended class that I teach, because everybody's interested, right? These kids they're hungry for the knowledge, but when they go to school, they don't get that. They get Christopher Columbus, they get math, they get reading, they get basic education, but they're not getting the knowledge of self. They're not getting a real deep. They're not getting a real deep dive into what their potential could be. You give a kid, you know how effective role models are. Me and you had somebody who was inspirational in our life. That's why we turned out the way we turned out. You feel me?
No doubt.
Of course, we turned out. We had, people we looked up to, and they encouraged us to be great, right? And so that was instilled in us. That's the most, to answer your question, that is the quintessential part of changing the paradigm shift in the African American community. It starts there. If it doesn't start there, if you skip that step, everything else is a Band-Aid. Everything else is a Band-Aid.
No, I'm going to attest to that from being a former school teacher and starting an after-school program called ACT Now, African Children of Tomorrow Now, which was specifically because of the lack of self-esteem amongst our people, and how to tie them to something that gave them that pride, that value of self, and in the reflection of the people around them. That's very, very important. Coming up in the late 80s, early 90s, with the Public Enemies, the KRS-Ones, the X-Clans, just to see that ourselves, our culture, not our culture, but value enough to be on the major platforms. That shit did a lot for us, and we could replicate that and get even more intensive with it. More purposeful in terms of how these stars, these celebrities, these athletes, these rappers, these actors, how we engage in the community. We could be more intentional about really investing. It is not always money. It's your time, ideas. Just the interest. A lot of time in young folks goes a long way.
And listen, don't get it twisted.
And the money's there.
And the money's there. Let me just expound on that just a little. Just think about how effective a simple community center to give these kids to occupy their time from doing something else matters. How many times you heard the story? If it wasn't for that community center, God knows where I would be. Have the conversation with Kevin Durant. He'll tell you, if it wasn't for this, y'all have been in the street like everybody else. Like, so imagine if you have multiple choices of things to do, right? Imagine if when you go to school, you had a teacher who taught you and spoke your language about yourself. Think about that. This just every time I go to a high school and I tell them about my career and I talk to them, yo, bro, I can see the change in them. I'm talking about I go to, and I don't go to the schools that they get straight A's. I want the kids that are they ask me, what kids, give me the bad seeds. Give me all the bad seeds.
Give me the knuckleheads.
In the classroom. He was like, yo, you sure you want that? Give me the bad seeds. Because they the ones who need to hear this. They need it the most. When I sit in front of them and I tell them my story, and I tell them the story of so many other people that came from behind me, and I explain to them so much of what they're capable of doing and how they can do it and what they need to do, and they look at me like they stuck. They like, wait, I'm fucking up, ain't I? Like they stuck. You don't understand how important that is. That curriculum is essential to the survival of young Black people.
Yeah. So, shameless plug, 24 Hours Apiece is a privately owned for-profit, community-based for-profit that does a 24 Hours Apiece concert in Newark, New Jersey with Mayor Ras Baraka, but it's also a character development program, critical thinking, conflict resolution, and tapping into young folks' hip-hop skills to show them how they're transferable to other industries. You know what I mean? You might be an MC, and you might be a public speaker. You might be a mayor. You might be an executive. You might be a DJ. Hey, you might be an audio engineer. You might be doing sound.
You might be a plumber. You might be a plumber. You
might be a carpenter.
Yeah,
you might be a carpenter. But it don't matter, no doubt.
But what we all need is basic skills, and what you gotta understand something is that there's more legitimate ways to make money and to last longer than it is. The street is a dead end. Getting fast money in the street is cool, and I know the girls like you, but as you get older, this is what I tell them, as you get older, having a legitimate job is so sexy. I was like, I was telling them, I said, yo, you think rap artists got groupies? Yo, you should try the nerds. The nerds now have all the groupies.
Yeah, the nerds actually win the game.
The nerds with the tech companies, they're the biggest groupies in the world. They have the biggest groupies in the world. Yeah. You kidding me?
Yep. For sure. But look, we getting close to the end, and it's something I need you to do for us, right? Because it's mad ism, so it's hip hop, right? And we talking about the isms, capitalism, socialism. I think we lost E. Oh, there you go.
No, I'm here.
Capitalism, socialism, all the isms, what have you. We see Jay-Z is a great example. Nick Cannon. We see a lot of hip hop artists really taking the lead.
You saw the freestyle. You saw the
LL Cool J. Yes, LL Cool J, no doubt. Big shout out to him. Vinny from Naughty by Nature is always active. Want to shout him out. There's a lot of folks around the country from hip hop that's doing their thing, and I just want you to talk about the importance of hip hop as a specific community giving back, and give us some examples of how the give back is already taking place, so people don't get misinformed.
Yeah, they looking for. I mean, this is our. This is how they make money, right? This is how we make money.
Yeah.
Right. Off of these young kids, they buy the tickets to the concerts, they stream the music, they do that. So it's important for, LL to do that freestyle. It's important for Jay-Z, who Hawk, I'm a big fan of Jay-Z. Gets a lot of criticism. I'm a huge fan, but I just love the way he moves because he provided the biggest piece. He got the Attorney General involved, and so. From all the celebrities who have donated money to the protesters and supported some of the community organizers with travel money and hotel space and per diems while they out there on the front lines for us, fighting for us. All of that stuff is important because I put up a post the other day. I was like, imagine if George Floyd died. and we didn't have people in the street fighting for us, right? Imagine if we were indifferent to it. How many more George Floyds would there be? It would be an everyday occurrence, right? That would be normal. So it's important for the hip hop community to step in and be involved and lend your voice and make voting cool. Seriously, like really, really make it cool, because it is cool. Making being legitimate cool, right? Is a double-edged sword, because you also have to tell your story from you coming from a have-not position to a have position, and it involves, you know, the plight of getting there, and so it can get, you know, so that message can, you know, translate down to the kids. But yeah, it's important to explain to the kids that it's you know, illegal and being, you know, criminal is not there anymore. And unfortunately, there's nothing we can say to them anymore about what to do when you encounter the police. Yeah, you still got to comply and do what you got to do, but even then, they're saying, "Yo, you told us we got to do that, and we're gonna die." But ultimately, yeah, just the overall presence of hip hop from Meek Mill, from, you know, some of the younger kids, it's important for that. Like, I don't know how much intelligence they have, all of them as a whole, and I'm not singling anybody out, and I'm not saying it, but some kids really just don't have that capacity. So we look to the older generation, the Busta Rhymes, the LL Cool J's, the Jay-Z's, you know, the Nas's, everybody, you know, we look to that community, to that sector of hip hop to lead the way, because they're quote unquote now the OGs, and, you know, they have the knowledge, so they have to lead the way and show the young kids, you know, this is what we got to do. Oh, yeah. And by the way, I'm all for this protest, bro. I'm all for it. I was all in on it. Like, I wasn't on social media telling them to stop. I wasn't on social media telling them to be, I'm telling them to be all in on this. Yeah, 100%. It was time.
I come from a tradition of protest, marching, you know, I come from a tradition of banging on the system. So, you know, I love to see it. I love to see it, you know, but more importantly, you know, the networking going on in the mob, in the chaos, there's some organizing going on within. So I want to see what transpires after all the chaos and the new level of leadership that's coming with these young people. I want to see them do some phenomenal things and create some policy and put pressure, you know. So
yeah, before we go though, I just wanted to say something to you, because, you know, I really enjoy Charlemagne the God's interview with Joe Biden. I appreciate Charlemagne. He's, you know, he deserves everything that he has going on, because he's very talented at what he does. He's very smart. I think he's extremely genuine in his concerns about the African American community and everything. The one thing that I would employ everybody who's talking to the president or the future president and talking to our community leaders and our politicians is stop asking them what they're going to do for us. We have to stop that. I believe, let me just rephrase. I believe we have to stop that. What I believe we have to do is tell them what we want. When a billionaire invests his money into someone's campaign, he's not asking them in return what you're going to do for me. What he's telling them when he invests his money is what he wants in return for investing his money. And that's what's going to help push your campaign. I'm investing this money in your campaign to help push you through, because this is what I want in return for helping you to get pushed through. And either you will comply or you don't comply, right? So when it comes to Joe Biden and you sitting down and you got to have a list of demands on what we want as a people, and tell him we want reparations, we want employment, we want housing, we want affordable housing. These are the things that we want. We want to deal with our education system. All of these things we want. Get a group of very smart African Americans in a room, come up with a real Black agenda, and take it to them and say, in return for rallying the vote of the African American people to you, this is what we want in return. Sit down and negotiate with them. Be very, very honest on what you can deliver in the first 4 years and what you can deliver in the back 4 years, and you got us, right? And hold that politician accountable for the first 4 years of what he agreed. That's what's got to happen if you want a real Black agenda to get pushed through. But constantly we're asking them what they're going to do for us. We can't even agree on what we want to do for what we want for our own people. We can't agree. So how is some politician who, again, don't know our community, don't know our real needs and concerns, is going to say this is what we need? We can go on Joe Biden and look at his Black Agenda platform, and I can tell you 10 people are going to sit there and pick a hole in that. That's got to stop. That's got to change. We got to say this is what we want in return, like special interest groups, like the NRA, we have to deal on that level. And that's how come the Hasidic Jewish community, although they're small in number, they all move in unison, which makes them big.
But the thing about it, for our, we don't care until it's election time. After the election, we throw our hands up, go about our lives until it's the next election, and we don't coalition build. We don't really strengthen our politics to the point where we can leverage, because we are an economic entity. Black people are. We just are, but we don't leverage our economic value.
But so many times you have people saying, "Oh, but this politician didn't do nothing for Black people. Or that politician didn't do nothing for Black people. Or this politician 30 years ago voted for this bill that screwed up this and that." Yo, bro, listen. We have to simply put a platform in front of them and hold them accountable to it. If we don't do that, it's always going to be the same old story. We got to, it's insanity to keep doing the same thing, expecting a different result.
Yeah, it was also when we say Black people, it's like, who we talking about? There's so many different versions of Black people with their own ideas and their own wants not to say that I'm not expecting you to answer that, by the way. That's just a rhetorical.
But I want to answer it in the terms that the bill should, the platform should be heavily proportioned against the less advantaged, the disadvantaged African Americans in this country. It should be heavily in that. Me and you, we're gonna be fine. We're gonna continue to run our businesses, and we're gonna be fine. We're not there. We're not in the projects trying to fight to get out. Our kids my kids go to one of the best schools in New Jersey, right? So I'm not there, but when I show up to her school, I'm like an anomaly. I'm not normal. You know what I'm saying? I'm a marshal.
But, all right, so but when you talk about African Americans, Black people, right? There's a whole, in terms of reparations, there's a whole. Are you talking about specifically African Americans who are descendants of slaves? Or are you talking about, there's a large Haitian community, a large Jamaican community, a large Afro-Latino community. There's a lot of Black people who ain't Black. There's a lot of that. So do you target it just based on, you say underprivileged, it's just, Newark, New Jersey, East New York, Bed-Stuy, South Side of Chicago. It could be anybody that lives in those areas.
And that's a phenomenal question, Hakeem, that I didn't even think about. And instantly off the top of my dome, without thinking about it, and I'm gonna reserve the right to change my mind, I would say descendants of slaves immediately.
Okay.
That would be off the top of my head. Again, I reserve the right, after researching and doing my homework, to change my opinion, to change my answer. But initially, I would have to say the descendants of slaves. Yeah. We're owed because we built this. We built this country.
Right. Now that's a reparations is a separate conversation outside of the infrastructure in the Black community or poor communities. Let's say Black communities, poor communities, knowing that most of our people are in poor communities. That infrastructure needs to be built up, and people need services. People need help. That's nothing to do with the reparations conversation. That's a totally different conversation. This needs to happen, and this needs to happen. Right.
Oh, it's gotta be it's gonna be.
It's so layered,
It's not gonna be a one-page thing, bro. It's gonna be a thing. Black people, this is our agenda. Now, what ends up happening is you got to be realistic in your expectations. In 4 years, he's got to sit down. You got to sit down and employ VP Biden to say, "Yo, brother, listen, be very honest in what you think you can deliver in your first 4 years. Because come your first 4 years, when it's time to rally our vote again, we're gonna judge you based on what you agree in this meeting. So when we leave out and we say, okay, you got a deal. This is a contract. You didn't hold up to your contract, bro. We're voting your ass out. That's got to be the case.
From the
But
top. Not in 2023. Yo, you didn't do nah. We gotta have that conversation.
We could have did that. You could have did that with Barack Obama. That's how come there's a large portions of African Americans who feel like, and some of my friends feel like Barack Obama didn't do anything for black people. I think he did, but I think he did something as a whole for the country, which benefited black people. But okay, again, you want for politicians to tell you what they're gonna do for you. You got to tell them what you want, and that's when and hold them accountable once they agree on what they want. That put them there. Yeah. That's it.
Look, I think that's a good place to put a stamp on it, right? Oh, you want to throw something in right fast before we head out? We got 2 minutes.
Hey man, I thought it was a good conversation. It's good to get the mind moving and ideas sparking. And this is not going to be a one-page thing, like you said. It's a process. I firmly believe in accountability within ourselves. I firmly believe that we must take action. We must exercise healthy mind, healthy bodies, and put things into action. Put plans into action. It's not going to happen overnight, but we got to do for ourselves, because this is where it starts. You can take the same projects that I grew up in that one might call shitty. You replace some of the people that are there with other civilized individuals, and now it's a paradise. The white people are moving in, and so it's not, we got to change our way of thinking, and we have to, I understand us as a people.
The question is how?
It's very simple. It starts by looking in the mirror, and it starts by saying, how can I take accountability for myself as an individual? Now,
No.
Nah, that takes too long. That takes too long.
But you gotta understand something. The lens in which these young people are looking through now is negative. We have to take the curriculums and turn that lens positive. So when they're looking in the mirror, what they see is, I want to be a drug dealer. What Snoop's album? What you want to be when you grow up? I want to be a motherfucking hustler. Those are the lens in which these kids are looking through.
Yeah, but who's here to tell them? Who's here to tell them and say, "Hey, this is fantasy land. This is reality." Right?
No, you got to show them.
No. But the other thing is, there's so many of our people that is their reality. Like, indeed. I want to be a mother. Like,
but it's not everybody. But it's not everyone's reality, and it's not realistic because it doesn't last. So who's going to tell them? Like, all right, some
teach
people
them in
don't
school.
have parents.
Change the curriculum.
Mentorship is another huge
question
that we
need. Mentorship. But it's got to start with changing the curriculums in the education system. Right. Every kid goes to the education at some point. I don't care who you are. At some point in your life, you go to school, and we have to capture them in school.
But I think, we can't depend on just waiting for each individual to tap in. We just have to create a system, that nurtures that wanting to look inside. Mm-hmm. It has to be nurtured. We have to build systems where we can change the minds of thousands, hundreds of thousands of young people over the course of 4, 5, 6, 7 years. You see a transformation. It's not going to happen like in a month or a week or a year. Absolutely. But we can do something that has an effect where in 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years, we're like, damn, we run the whole show because the kids were invested in.
Absolutely. And it's a process. And even this here is a bit of a spark. What somebody may not be so interested in school and may not care, but they might be more interested in a mentor. They might be interested in something like that. So everybody's different, but at the end of the day, now or later, at some point, we all have to take accountability for ourselves. At some point, something sparks us and motivates us to do that. It might be an individual, but that's the bottom line. So mentorships programs, after-school programs, hip-hop artists that team up and do something for the kids, things like that, teaching them about business, banking.
When you have that conversation, everybody, it sounds good. I'm keeping it real with you, brother, because I'm only know that it sounds good, and then everybody goes about their daily lives, and the same shit keeps happening. Absolutely. I'm telling you, you got to change policy. You got to change policy. These kids got to go to school, and we got to grab them from the beginning and we gotta change. We gotta implement a curriculum in the inner city school system to change their minds, to change their
like
to change
what
their
LeBron
opinion.
is doing with Promise Academy,
Bam.
right? Like it's
Bam.
like that because it's not just he's approaching it going, yo, you know, the parents are having a hard time finding a job. Well, we're gonna get you some education, get you some skills, and get you some job placement. If you're a hardworking mom, we got daycare for you. You know, we got our own food program. It's like it's so many, but it's a system that's gonna churn out hundreds of kids every year.
LeBron often talks about his bike. He was like, yo, if I didn't have this bike, yo, I would be, you don't understand what would have happened to me if I didn't have this bike to ride from this place to that place and stay out of trouble.
Wow.
And what if I had to walk, I would have got distracted. And so every kid in that school gets a bike. I'm telling you, every kid in that school gets a bike to be able to ride to school and ride back home from school and understand. Like, these are the things that have to be implemented. You don't understand
top to bottom.
You don't understand that we escaped the hood by the grace of God. Like, it's one or two elements, we right there. I have kids that I grew up with, best friends that I grew up with, that still are hanging out. I'm talking about 40-something-year-old young men still hanging out on the street corner in the hoods of Brooklyn. That's sad. And those were my best. I'm talking about my day ones. And the only difference between me and them was that I had a father who inspired me to do something else. Everybody don't, but you gotta understand something. Everybody don't have that.
Correct.
Everybody don't have that.
Yeah, y'all saying the same thing, by the way.
No, we saying the same thing.
Saying the same thing.
Listen, the bottom line is results. How do we get the results? And it's a process, but we are all working towards it. It sounds like we're like-minded individuals that want better for our people, because I definitely do. I hate to see people go to jail and our money go into there. Like, I go visit my friends and I gotta spend $4 to buy them a cheeseburger. And you know, it's crazy when you see this stuff. And you're like, wait a minute, yo, we gotta chill. We gotta chill and slow this down, and we can hit them in the pocket. We stop getting arrested. We stop, you know, it's a whole other conversation.
When we get that knowledge itself, then we'll stop valuing all the, you know, the high-end brands that we'll start to understand what it's like to invest in our communities and stuff like that. But until we get that knowledge itself, we're always going to yearn for that. We're always going to yearn for that, because that's superficial. It's there, but we have to change that. I'm telling you, if you guys just really, really look into how the curriculum, you're a school teacher, you're a former school teacher, so you understand how if you really, really, really pay attention to what these kids are being taught in school, we don't have a chance at competing for their attention when you got so many negative things that are attractive to them in the street. You got to count in the book of, somewhere in the book of Romans, it says we have to contend. Some versions it says they use the word compete. We have to compete for the faith in the book of Romans, and it's the same thing with these kids. We got to compete for their attention. And we got to figure out a way to teach them differently.
You know, that's Channel Live, by the way. That's the whole vision of Channel Live. Teaching, seeing the young folks get influenced by other entertainers on the negative side, and going, no, I want to provide something positive imagery, positive programming. So Channel Live TV, that whole thing comes
and you know what, not to cut you, I'm sorry, I forgot to ask Eric in the beginning, for the viewers that will see this later, so that they may also be inspired. Can you just give a little bit of background about who you are and where you came from? So
I've been in music for, Jesus Christ, like 20 plus years now. Started at Violator, worked at Def Jam, worked at Sony, I'm just running through this real quick, worked at Universal. I have a joint venture record company with Atlantic Records, have a joint venture music publishing company with Sony ATV, signed songwriters, producers, artists, everything. I'm also a franchise owner now. I own a Jersey Mike's, and I'm expanding to other ventures, and investing my money and things like that. So yeah, it's just, you know, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm not just I'm music is what pays my bills, but also I invest my money outside of music and setting up my life for after music at some point. whenever I decide that I want to, you know, just chill out and just, you know, to do it so that I can still maintain the same lifestyle and I don't have to do it. So yeah, that's what it is.
What's some of the artists you work with?
Oh my God!
You name the labels, but the artists.
Yeah, I started out with Foxy Brown. I worked with and still work very closely with Busta Rhymes. I worked at Violator, where Mobb Deep was there. Missy Elliott. I was an integral part of signing 50 Cent to Violator, which ultimately ended up becoming he ended up going to Aftermath with Eminem. You know, I worked with some of the, you know, LL Cool J. I managed LL Cool J for several years. I executive produced 3 of his multi-platinum albums and his first, second, and third #1 singles that he's ever had in his career. Currently, I for the younger kids, I signed and developed Justine Skye, who's also still part of my publishing company. I have a young kid from North Carolina who's really, really buzzing right now. His name is MOS. I signed Lucas Coley, who's a huge Instagram star and has great music and streams a lot of music. He's like sort of like a smaller version of 6ix9ine, but he does a lot. He just doesn't have the flag in his pocket and he doesn't talk crazy, but he still moves the units. And yeah, that's, you know, that's
yeah. I wish we had an applause button on deck.
Yeah, we're gonna have one. We're gonna have it. We're gonna have it.
Like,
next
time, we need an applause button for NICKS because he definitely came through with a lot of jewels for us on this session. Man. This session of Madism is such an honor for you to take time out, bro.
Anytime y'all want me back, I'm here, bro.
Yo, I appreciate you,
guys,
dude.
Man. I love the work y'all doing. This is important. Hakim, you understand, like, a big part of my day sometimes is just kicking it to you, or just like bouncing ideas. Even when we don't agree, it's like the best part. It's like, you know, because we're building.
Still sharp as steel.
It's always positive. It's always, you know, sometimes we get frustrated. Each other, like, I can't get through this. It's still great, bro.
And you know,
it's all positive. It's all love. And I
home team, bro.
I really, really cherish our friendship, bro. I want to say this to you, man. I really, really cherish our friendship, bro.
I love you, E. Salute, bro. And just like, you know, this is somebody when, you know, on the other side of Madism, you know, Madism was the big record. You get to the other side and you still trying to find your way. And Eric was, you know, just entering in the music industry and really his trajectory was going up readily. And he just called me in the office like, yo, bro, yo, B, listen, I'm here. If you ever need anything, you just want to come through, kick it, you know, just whatever you need, I got you. And he's always been in. That was 20-something years ago, you know. And then
you'd be surprised at the executives I've done that for, bro. Like, you hear an executive lose their job, I'm the first one, even if I never broke bread with them. I've always picked up the phone and be like, yo, I heard what happened. I'm sorry. I just want to let you know. I know how people laugh at that shit. But, yo, I got a studio. I got this and that. If you ever need you need a place to get your shit together, come through. You know, some people appreciate it. Some people don't. But, you know, that's just who I've always been. Yeah, and I'm always going to continue to be that way. Real talk.
Salute. Home team right here. Home team.
Were you at Violator? Because I interned at Violator for like.
I was. You was there. You was there. I was there.
Yeah, you was there.
Which one? What office was you? What office?
I was with James Cruz. With me, Brent, Brent, and
Brent and James. Yeah, I was there. Yeah.
Where you sat at?
So I had the big office right in the middle,
all the way in the back room.
No,
in the middle.
Nah. If you had to walk through
this one, if you talking about the Lexington Avenue office,
the one, the office that got shot up, that one.
Oh no, so I never worked in that office.
Okay, that's where I was at.
I was going. So I left. So I signed 50 Cent. I bought 50 Cent to Violator, and at the time, I was just having discrepancies with my contribution to the company and what I was getting back from it. Chris is still Chris is my biggest mentor. You know, I love him forever for what he did for my career. Love him. But at the time we just had a discrepancy. So I broke out. And when I left, LL Cool J came with me and I started my own company. And that's when you guys moved to 25th Street. Yeah,
I was there, but I was there before.
But I used to come down. I remember your face because I still had a relationship, and I would come down and
I'm just
me
saying,
and
'cause you look
James are
familiar.
still, yeah.
I'm like, damn,
Yeah,
you look familiar.
and me and James Cruz is still mad cool to this day. Yeah.
Y'all learned a lot from that,
Yo,
man.
Eric always
Yeah.
had on a Yankee fitted and some Air Force Ones.
Always. Remember that?
Word is
No doubt. No doubt.
That was the era. That was New York for you, baby.
No doubt.
Yo,
All
guys,
right,
man.
fellas.
Yo,
Thank you
respect.
so much.
Salute. Madism in
Yes.
effect, y'all. Y'all know what it is. See y'all
Always
next
here,
week.
bro.
One love,
fam.
y'all.
Love.
Peace.
Peace.